Welcome to the NACE Gallery at the Paint Spot. I'm Kim Fjordbotten, and today we have the show Chroma, and the artist Hailey Coogan is here to talk to us about it. Welcome, Hailey. It's nice to have you here.
Thanks, Kim.
So, finding inspiration is sometimes a challenge, but you have wonderful muses. Tell me about your subject matter here.
Well, I like reptiles. I have a couple, 4 reptiles at home. So what I did is I really got involved in the Instagram community as soon as I got my bearded dragons. What it did is it opened me up to iguanas and chameleons and all these other types of reptiles as well. And really with the chameleons, they really struck a chord with their color and with their attitude. I do have, like I said, 4 reptiles at home. 2 bearded dragons, 1 crested gecko and a leopard gecko, and they are fantastic. They are great to draw. They sit still for hours on end, basking in the sun, so you can get some very good physical drawings of them. So that's one benefit to owning a reptile.
So these are so bright and bold, and they really command a nice space in the gallery. We've really enjoyed them. How did you come up with this primary with the black? I would have expected earth tones or something, so this is great.
So where these colors actually come from is the chameleons themselves. So this came about from wanting to experiment, actually starting with this one back in 2017. I got the new Posca markers as a medium. I really wanted to play with them. And I was fascinated by chameleons at the time and the fact that they were all these bright primary colors. So I wanted to focus on this, and that's why I named my exhibit Chroma, is because it's all about color. I felt like the chameleons were this fantastic yet misunderstood resource, and being able to show, particularly these are all male chameleons because they're all that kind of color.
These are large dramatic works. Tell me about how working at this scale has changed your working process. Working large, sometimes it changes the whole idea. So how did you leap into these large format works? Was it inspiration or was it a challenge?
I started off with the large works as my primary goal, and some of that came from talking to people like you. Some of that came from just wanting to explore and open up. I had to really, as a process, change how I did things to deal with the large works. I have a smaller studio. I had to move into the basement so that I could have all 4 of these big, beautiful paintings put together. And then what I did was I completed about 90% of the work, and then I'd come back to it once I had some of the other paintings completed. And what I wanted to do was not have one image that evolved over time, but a complete show where if I learned something from image 1 or from painting 1, then I could come back to painting 1 and use it again, as opposed to learn from it and then complete the next one and then learn from that, and then by the end you've got 4 pieces that are somewhat disparate looking.
You mentioned Posca markers. Tell me how these acrylic paint pens have worked for you in this body of work.
So the Posca markers for me, they were one of the key things that I wanted to actually play with in this. So I wanted color, I wanted bright color. The first time I used Posca markers was when they came into the Paint Spot, and again, that's where I started to experiment with this one here and really start to learn the color and also the mark making techniques. So when I went on to my bigger works and really developed the story around Chroma, the Posca markers were integral because I wanted to kind of elevate them onto the canvas. You know, they're acrylic, they're still a paint. I wanted them to be comfortable because they're more like pen and ink, which I'm used to using. So being able to use something that I was comfortable with, being able to use something that was bright and bold and really seemed to me to fit the nature of the chameleons as well.
And there's a lot of mark making, a lot of repetitive shapes. How did you enjoy that? Did you find it meditative, or was it difficult and time consuming?
I think it was both at different times. It was meditative when I was in the right mood and I was really into it and going on, and there were times when I couldn't be able to do those because I needed to work on something else just to keep myself engaged with the work. And also, you know, sometimes your hand starts to cramp, as we all know as artists. So those times were also not quite so meditative.
Thanks so much, Hailey, for coming in and talking about your work. Chroma will run at the Paint Spot until December 31st. I invite you to come down and see these images for yourself. You get to look closely at them, and of course, everything's for sale and it's quite affordable. So if you're looking for some gift ideas, these could be yours. See you soon.